Today on The Young and the Restless, Kyle and Jack make amends. Audra shares her game plan with Nate, and Nikki and Victoria surprise Claire. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Lily arrives at Crimson Lights and Abby gushes, sister-in-law. They chat about taking time away from Genoa City. Abby tells Lily that Devon's been worried about her. Lily hopes he didn't waste any time on his honeymoon worrying about her. Abby reassures her but says he's concerned that the past few months haven't been easy for her. It was blow after blow. You deserve better. Lily shrugs. Don't we all? Abby says she agrees with Devon. Wouldn't it be amazing if she could be with the people she trusts the most? Your family. Lily tells Abby she hasn't had time to consider her next move. Abby says she's calmer than most might be. Lily thinks she has a good poker face. Abby tells her Devon wants to be there for her any way he can be. Lily thanks Abby for telling her that. Abby says it's a family thing. Devon arrives at Nate's place and notices that he has company, or has Audra moved in? Audra teases. Wait until you see the plans I have for this place. You won't even recognize it. Devon realizes she's not moved in. Audra says she doesn't even have a drawer. She jokes that she's off to pick out wallpaper as she leaves them to talk. Nate tells Devon he had that coming to him. Devon wants to know how serious they're getting. Nate tells his cousin he has a wife, child, and a CEO title, and he's sitting there talking to him about dating. Devon wants to know what's going on. Nate says it's more than casual, but they're not shopping for rings. He's happy with her. Devon muses. Fair enough. Talk turns to Lily and Devon says he's worried about her. She's been through a whole lot. They recap what happened to her with Billy and the Newmans. Nate hopes she's working through it. Devon hopes this will finally lead her back to Winters where she belongs. At Society, Jack notes that Victor hasn't ordered a drink, so it's not the tequila talking. Victor says he did a hell of a job. Jack tells him to save it. Victor gets up and advises his nemesis to enjoy his win. They're few and far between. Kyle joins his father and asks what that was about. Jack says he claims that he came to acknowledge that he beat him. It's a classic Victor Newman move. He knew Jack saw through it. Kyle asks, so what's the point? Jack says it's to keep him guessing and on alert. Kyle knows that if you're not related to him, he will screw you over. Jack's sorry Kyle had to learn the hard way. Kyle says, I'm an idiot. Jack disagrees. You're human. Kyle tells his dad he's sorry. Nikki opens the ranch door to Claire and thanks her for coming. Victoria walks in behind her and says she was in the neighborhood. Claire asks if they're planning a surprise party for Grandpa or something. Victoria says she got the surprise part right. They lead her into the living room and Claire looks astonished. Laid out in front of her are bags of accessories, a rack of clothes and glass cases of jewelry. Nikki says Lauren got her best people to bring this over. Victoria reveals it's for Claire's new job. It's like Cinderella except she's walking into the office instead of a ballroom. Claire feels spoiled. Nikki tells her she'll make an entry into the family empire. She's a Newman and a force to be reckoned with and must look like it. She once had help and now Claire does too. Victor comes in and tells Claire that he's not sure what her grandmother is looking forward to more, running Chancellor or having her beside her. He asks for a moment alone with Claire. Nikki and Victoria leave the room, and Victor asks Claire how he likes his new position. She knows there will be a learning curve, but she'll be surrounded by the best in the business. Is he worried she'll let him down? Victor says no, she's a Newman. He says she has a lot to learn and will have to focus, but Nikki will teach her. But no personal distractions, okay. Claire guesses this is about her relationship with Kyle. Victor understands it's becoming more serious, and says that bothers him for various reasons. Claire lets him know that he played a role in the complications with his family. Victor says the Abbotts are unstable, she has to focus on work. Claire says her mom and Nikki have a great work/life balance and she will follow in their footsteps. They go back and forth over whether Jack and Diane will stay together. Victor insists there's a lot of rot in the family. There will be no coming back for the Abbotts, really. They don't even know it. Claire can only go by what she's seen firsthand. Victor says, what they allow you to see. He tells her the time will come when she has to choose her allegiance, either to the Abbotts or. Are you ready for that? At society, Jack is impressed with Kyle's apology and returns the sentiment, acknowledging that he let his son down. Kyle, I'm sorry. I did not see how much you were hurting. When he put Diane in the position above him, he ignored how much it hurt him. Kyle says he told him to do it. Maybe he never really thought he would do it. They asked him over and over, and he lied and said he was fine. Jack says he showed them every day how he felt, and he should have set things right. Jack feels he created the situation, and it was up to him to fix it. He's truly sorry. Kyle says it's not right for him to take full responsibility. He hadn't gotten over his mom's promotion because he hadn't gotten over what she did when she was dead. When she came back, she became the mom who stayed away on purpose. When she and Jack reconciled, it was like he forgot what happened. Kyle says he's dealt with it now with Claire's help. Jack understands just how he feels. Jack talks about growing up in the shadow of John and wondering how he'd ever measure up. He scrambled and scratched his way to making a mark, usually in the wrong ways. You haven't done anything I wouldn't understand. He also understands feeling abandoned by your mother. He tells Kyle he has to build his own legacy that he can look back on with pride. Kyle knows John would be proud of Jack. Jack tears up. These talks are important, they matter. This is what makes a family strong. Kyle hedges, in the spirit of honesty, I have to ask. When you and Mom fought, the things you said, was any of it true? He wants to know, do you completely trust her now? Jack says of course he trusts Diane. Kyle says the fights were so convincing, it felt pretty real. Jack tells him Diane knows how people look at her and she used that to their advantage. Jack tries not to think about the things people said about her. He insists he doesn't question who she really is, and asks, do you still have doubts about her? Kyle says no, he just needed to hear it from him. At Crimson Lights, Abby leaves as Nate comes in. They chit-chat until Audra appears. Laylee says she has to go and will see Nate later. Audra asks him, is your family going to despise me forever? Nate's surprised she cares about what other people think. Audra thought she had made progress with Lily, but his family will never accept her. Nate notes she likes pushing Devon's buttons. Audra says it's hard not to when he's always so damn serious. The truth is, they matter to him, and he matters to her, so she wants to win them over. She'll make them adore her. Not just for my sake, but for yours. She wants them to think she's the best thing to ever happen to him. They make out. At the Chancellor estate, Abby tells Devon that she ran into Lily, and he muses that she's dodging him. Abby wonders if she's trying to avoid his tone about returning to Winters. They can't pressure her. Devon says fine, he gets it. He teases Abby for playing family mediator and they kiss. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. They groan and ignore it. Lily calls out, Devon, Abby, it's Lily. Lily is invited inside, and Abby announces she's going to watch Dom take a nap. Devon and Lily sit and chat about their trips. Lily gushes about Charlie and Maddie's bond, which is real. Devon asks if she came by to talk about more than vacations. At society, Kyle tells Jack that Claire is amazing and has insight into people. Jack thinks they're getting closer. Kyle hopes that doesn't change now that she's going to work with Nikki at Chancellor. They go over the change for Harrison. Kyle asks if his father doesn't approve of his relationship with Claire. Jack thinks Claire is lovely and he's glad they're building a bond. Kyle says that doesn't tell him how he feels about them seeing each other. Jack admits he's concerned because of Victor. He will never let this go or give up. He had his daughter arrested at her wedding to Billy. Kyle says he can handle it. Jack says, but can Claire? That's what you have to ask yourself. Does he think Victor will back off of his vendetta for her sake? They know he takes everything to a bloodsport level, she does not. Kyle vows nothing will happen to Claire, she means too much to me, even more than she knows. At the ranch, Claire can't imagine why she'd have to choose between Kyle and her family. The only thing I can come up with is if you were to make another move against them. Victor says he'll never forgive Jack for the damage he's done. Claire won't allow herself to be forced into making a decision such as that. Victor says she's like her grandmother and mother. Just then, Nikki and Victoria appear. Victor walks off, and Claire tells them that her grandfather doesn't like her seeing Kyle. He mentioned the possibility of having to choose between him and the family. Nick says that's nonsense, but Victoria looks concerned. Victoria and Nikki sit down and discuss their concerns. Victoria wonders.